Dragon Age Dreadwolf is officially dead, replaced instead by Veilguard, which dropped a trailer just recently, which is currently sitting none too pretty at 155,000 downvotes. I repeat my point from last week or so, where back in the day, trailers were intended to hype up a product. It was intended to present it in the best possible light, to get people interested into purchasing a product. They are intended to be positive PR. And now, something like 3/4 of the total audience actively dislike the product. Bearing in mind, if you've got the bother to even leave a like or a dislike in the first place, you're more invested than the average person who watches it, and it is hardly a surprise. So, well, see, here's the thing, right? Dragon Age, by and large, is a setting that has, for a very long time now, had no real idea what the hell it's been doing. As this trailer is, many people have compared it to like a hero shooter style introduction, and yes, kind of, as there's no more mention really of the great danger, the Darkspawn threatening the very world itself. Now they're just talking about, oh, there's going to be adventures, there's going to be dragons and stuff, and we need to gather a group of characters, very current year characters, beginning with a disabled detective with a robot leg. Very, very current year, absolutely. We've got a mage killer who looks the most normal out of the bunch. We have another diversity hire, a veil jumper. Apparently, you can now just kind of just do that, and it's not that big of a deal anymore. I remember that was actually a huge deal back in the day, but details. Emmerich, a necromancer who seemingly they forgot to animate his face. All honesty, I'm probably most interested in him, because he seems to be presented as if he works mostly through his minions, which could be some interesting gameplay. I highly doubt it, but hey, it's a possibility at least. And Davrin, our now practically required black elf? Oh, and Tash, the non-binary character, as, I don't know about you, but I haven't got the faintest clue what gender this is supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be a Kunari, I think. Then again, they've, given them horns and taken them away again, so I'm not even entirely sure about that anymore. And the only mildly attractive character in the entire bunch is the dwarf. At least she looks cute with her freckles, right? But that's the closest you come to an attractive female character in Dragon Age the Veilguard. And beyond even that, because that is merely just the current year, right? You can't actually have attractive female characters. It is verboten, it is forbidden. The entire style of the trailer. See, the original Dragon Age Origins, this game I absolutely adore. I think I played through it like 4 times or something. And the entire thrust of Origins, the sales point, was that it was a brutal world. I mean, they had like blood splatters. In fact, that was one of the selling points. Like, you kill something, its blood will be on you. You'll have blood splatter all over the walls, etc. You'll kill big enemies with sync kills and so on. And the world itself was in mortal peril from an enemy that you couldn't actually defeat. You could only turn it back temporarily. The Darkspawn were an unending threat to the very life on Earth itself. Innumerable billions of them resting beneath the Earth's surface, and all you could do as the greatest heroes of your age was to halt them one more time. The world was boned, and all you could do was to make it slightly less boned for the moment. And as you went through the world and discovered the various characters and forces, you made alliances with them. And in many cases, those alliances didn't work out very well, like the werewolves, for example. As even if you decide to side with them and, protect their forest and so on, they don't work out particularly well at all, in fact. It was a dark world. The Broodmother. An early variant of the Demon Kulaba right there. Whereas now, it's all got this air of levity again. Nothing matters. Oh, this adventure's a bit too big for all of us. I guess we're gonna have to go find a diverse posse of characters to come with us. Oh, there's gonna be dragons too. Okay. Are the dragons dangerous at this point? No. They're just like a side quest thing. And this has been the issue with Dragon Age for so long now. I mean, Dragon Age 2 kind of lost the plot point in that it set everything within a city. So you lost the grandiose nature of the adventure. You weren't dealing with an enormous threat anymore. You were dealing with rogues, city politics, the occasional necromancer. And even then, Dragon Age 2 had some really dark storylines here and there. Your family, etc. But it wasn't a Dragon Age game, really. It was also one of the earliest instances of unattractive characters, as well as Bioware began the long, slippery slide that will now eventually lead to its demise, as somehow I don't think this is going to be a very big commercial success. At this point, I'd imagine that Bioware primarily lives off their previous glories. Resells of Dragon Age Origins, perhaps too to a degree, and Mass Effect more pressingly, I imagine. Whereas their recent catalogue is just a series of failures. As then, of course, there was Inquisition, which had some cool ideas. You were returning a bit more to the world-spanning threat. You were returning to a bit more of a global adventure. You could attack castles, you could carry out a war. Okay, this sounds good if there wasn't for one tiny little catch, namely the fact that it was a goddamn MMO, and most people didn't even get to the interesting part because they got to the grasslands and thought to themselves, why aren't I just playing World of Warcraft again anyways? And then they went and did just that because that was all it was, a goddamn MMO. Dragon Age is a goddamn RPG series. The entire point of Dragon Age is that you are the warden, you are the hero, you gather your group of heroes, and you lead the nations of the world in resistance against the enemy. The innumerable numbers of them. The more warfare you could place into this, the better. The more blood and guts and horror and defeat and close calls you can put into this, the better. When you are fighting against the Darkspawn, it should be as if you are drowning. The victory of the good guys should be by the slimmest of margins. It should be a grim, dark horror tale, where even if you win, all you do is put off your inevitable demise. There was a game, Dungeon Siege, the first one, which captured this feel perfectly as you wander through abandoned castles and villages overrun by monsters. You see the detritus of civilization all around you, and you come to the inevitable conclusion that you are living in the twilight era of a lost world. Much like Myth. Myth is another brilliant example of this. You are not supposed to feel as if you are on a light-hearted adventure, because in all due reality, you are doomed. The world is doomed. Your family, your friends, everyone is doomed, and you are merely just resisting the inevitable drag of the tide. That is supposed to be Dragon Age. And of course, again, you need moments of levity to weigh up against that. You can add in a bit of humor. In fact, the Dragon Age expansion, Sacred Ashes? No, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it had a wizard who was one of the funniest characters I've ever seen in a game. He was fantastic, and they completely butchered him in 2, but hey, you know, why not? Why not ruin it all? You can do that as well, but the core of Dragon Age needs to be serious. It needs to be a blood and guts adventure, not let's gather a posse of diverse characters to fight against, something or other and dragons. That is not Dragon Age. But hey, on the bright side, it is almost guaranteeably going to murder Bioware, which is at this point long overdue. Bioware needed to die after Mass Effect 3. And the fact that its mutilated, massacred body has been allowed to drag its bleeding carcass this far? Well, it's a failure on our behalf as a society to not put the disgusting miscreant mess out of its misery earlier. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.